The wild boar is one of the most adaptable and resilient animals in human history, surviving changing environments for thousands of years. Before empires rose, wild boars had already survived countless changes in the natural world. When humans began farming, wild boars discovered something unexpected. Civilization created new opportunities. While empires fought for land, wild boars quietly survived beyond the battlefield. Where humans saw destruction, the boar found new smells, new food, and another chance to survive. Explain how wild boars use terrain knowledge, speed camouflage, and sudden direction changes to avoid hunters. Roman hunters pursued him with weapons and dogs. Every forest had pathways humans could miss, and the Indian boar learned to use them. Centuries changed, kingdoms changed, but the wild boar kept adapting to human expansion. His tusks were not decoration. They were evolutionary weapons built for defense.
When water disappeared,
explain how movement and dispersal help wild boars colonize new habitats. Whenever landscapes changed, machines transformed the world, but even the industrial age failed to erase the wild boar. Intelligence, adaptability, physical toughness, flexible diet, and the ability to exploit human-created environments. As the city expands, pushing the boundaries of the wild, this resilient boar has learned not to retreat. When humans slept, the wild boar often began his most important work. From forests to farms, wild boars expanded wherever food, shelter, and opportunity existed. Different climates demanded different strategies, but the wild boar kept finding ways to adapt. Storms destroyed trees and flooded paths, but the boar knew when to move and when to wait. Environmental disturbances create new feeding opportunities. After the destruction, the boar finds opportunity in the newly disturbed earth. Rooting behavior allows wild boars to access food unavailable to many other animals. With one powerful snout, the ground becomes a hidden food supply. Show how seasonal food abundance can support wild boar survival and population growth. When forests produced abundance, survival was not always solitary. Awareness of others could mean the difference between danger and escape. Long before danger appeared, the boar often sensed that something was coming. Demonstrate how environmental knowledge and rapid decision-making help wild boars escape threats. Strength helped the boar survive, but not every landscape offered protection, so the boar learned when to cross open ground. When human activity disappeared, the wild boar often remained to reclaim the space. Explain how habitat corridors allow wildlife to move between isolated natural areas. Even fragments of wilderness could become...
Empires vanished, landscapes changed, and history moved forward. But the wild boar kept adapting. Behind the boar's survival lies a powerful combination of intelligence, adaptability, toughness, and opportunity.
When one food source vanished, the wild boar simply searched for another.
Every time the boar dug into the earth, he changed the landscape around him. The boar was not just surviving in nature, he was constantly reshaping it. 4 seasons changed the world around him, but the boar changed his strategy with every season. Even a flooded river could be overcome when patience became part of survival. Sometimes survival meant leaving the dry world behind and finding refuge where water remained. Human roads have created barriers, challenges for wildlife movement that ancient hunters never imagined. The greatest modern challenge was no longer one empire. It was a landscape divided into pieces. Adaptability gives wild boars an advantage in rapidly changing environments. Where specialists struggled, survival was not always about speed. Sometimes it was about knowing when not to move. Habitat flexibility is one of the strongest reasons wild boars have survived historical change. The wild boar survived not because the world stayed stable, but because the animal continually adapted to change.
History remembered the emperors, but survival quietly belonged to the animals that outlasted them.
Beneath the soil, evidence reveals that wild boars have walked beside human history for thousands of years. Water did more than quench thirst. It created pathways through the landscape. The thick mud layer helps regulate body temperature and blocks harmful UV rays. It also protects the skin from parasites and insect bites. Wildlife researchers examine tracks, soil disturbance, and camera trap footage connected to this wild boar in a natural habitat.
Political borders divided kingdoms and countries, but the wild boar follows the landscape, seeking connectivity. Survival depends on responding to multiple pressures, rather than overcoming one single enemy. The world kept changing around the boar, but change itself became his greatest advantage. The return to wilderness.
Show how survival depends on the interaction between multiple habitats. His history was written across every landscape where food.
Every scar tells a story of danger survived, and every journey explains why he is still here. History may have ended for empires, but somewhere in the darkness, the wild boar is still walking.
The forest at the city's edge. Even here, beside the towering symbols of modern civilization, the ancient survivor finds room to exist. Humanity changed the land faster than ever, but the boar kept searching for the spaces left behind. A lifeline between two worlds, these connected habitats are essential for the long-term survival of large mammals.
Adaptability helped the boar survive humans, but wilderness remained his strongest home. Survival sometimes demanded distance, the freedom to move across an entire landscape. Every disturbance changed the forest, and the adaptable boar immediately began reading the new landscape. Where nature offered variety, the wild boar turned variety into survival.
This is the adaptation cycle. Search, move, adapt, survive. A continuous cycle that has carried the wild boar through history. From prehistoric forests to modern cities, the wild boar survived every chapter of human expansion. Faced with a changing path, the boar relies on memory and exploration. This cautious decision-making is key.
The next challenge is already here. A world where wildness and civilization continue to collide.
No one knows what the next century will bring, but the Indian wild boar has already survived thousands of years of change. Survival belongs to species that can respond to change. History's greatest lesson is simple.